Jews believe the Messiah is yet to come. Here and in Israel lately, there are some who say the time is very near. Here's ABC's Dean Reynolds.
The word is spreading. Billboards proclaim it in Jerusalem by day and in Tel Aviv by night. In Israel, the message is just about everywhere. It is simple and startling. Prepare for the arrival of the Messiah. The message comes from Brooklyn, New York, the headquarters of this man, the Lubavitcher Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, leader of the largest ultra-Orthodox sect in all of Judaism. The expectation of a Messiah is a central tenet of Judaism. Not all Jews accept the notion, but this sudden talk of deliverance from suffering gets attention. Rabbi Schneerson's supporters in Israel are fervent believers. Thousands of them have been praying for his quick recovery from a mild stroke last week, because they believe this 89-year-old man might just be the Messiah himself, just waiting for the right time to announce it.
Yes, I believe that he is the best candidate to be the Messiah.
It is not so much that the rabbi has said he is the Messiah, he says he is not. But he has not discouraged his followers here from advertising that he is.
He always left a way for interpretation that he is the one, he's a guy.
His followers say recent events match Jewish prophecy of the coming of the Messiah, that a nation threatening Israel will be humbled. They point to the collapse of the Soviet Union, to the subsequent mass emigration of Jews from there, and to the futility of Saddam Hussein's missile attacks on Israel. What's more, they say the rabbi predicted these things. Even the unusually heavy snowfall this year is read by the Lubavitcher newspaper as an extraordinary sign of the coming redemption. Of course, this being Israel, the emotional Messiah debate also has a political effect. It threatens to unravel attempts at unifying the small ultra-Orthodox political parties before Israel's elections in June. A unified stand could give them more power to determine who forms Israel's next government. But such worldly concerns are of little consequence to the ecstatic followers of the man from Brooklyn. They believe a golden era is about to dawn. Dean Reynolds, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
And that's our report on World News Tonight. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a nice evening. Good night.
Is trying to get the word out. With billboards and banners, they proclaim that the coming of the Messiah is at hand. Not everyone in Israel agrees. Bob Simon explains.
The Coming of the Messiah campaign is being orchestrated from a small town near Tel Aviv called Kfar Habad. It is the Israel headquarters of an ultra-Orthodox Jewish sect, followers of an 89-year-old rabbi who lives in Brooklyn, New York. His name is Menachem Schneerson, and his worldwide following is estimated at 100,000. The issue took on an added urgency last week when he suffered a stroke. Schneerson has never claimed to be the Messiah, but he's never denied it either. To his disciples, he is the only man in the running.
I mean, there's nobody else better than him for the Messiah.
What signs do they see? The rabbi, they say, prophesied the end of communism, the ingathering of Russian Jews, the Gulf War where so many scuds fell on Israel and so few people got hurt. Even today, some saw a divine hand waving the Sea of Galilee to overflow its banks. Jews have yearned for the Messiah for thousands of years. At the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem this week, the disciples of Rabbi Schneerson prayed for the recovery of their master. They prayed for some sign from an old and sick man who is not breaking his silence thousands of miles away. Bob Simon, CBS News, Jerusalem.
Thousands of Lubavitcher Jews are gearing up for this week's special birthday celebration for their grand Rebbe. The Rebbe, born in Russia, has risen to monumental status in Brooklyn. More now from our Mary Snow.
Here on the streets of Crown Heights, you sense anticipation in the air, and it comes with a clear message. The Messiah is near. Among the Hasidics in the Lubavitch sect, the Messiah may be living in Brooklyn. His name, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson. The Grand Rebbe turns 90 on Tuesday, and while he's confined to his home recovering from a stroke he suffered 6 weeks ago, Hasidics from around the world have come here to mark his birthday.
I wouldn't be anywhere else. Nothing could convince me to be anywhere else.
With that anticipation comes sadness. Sadness that the Rebbe won't take part in any public celebration. That includes the parade of 90 mitzvah vans that'll roll through Brooklyn and Manhattan Tuesday spreading his message. Also missed the Sunday ritual where thousands of people cram his home as he hands out dollar bills for charity. passing through everyone from the ordinary to more well-known, like singer Bob Dylan, all to get a few seconds with the Rebbe.
It's having him look into your eyes and feeling him looking through you and knowing that he sees everything that you do, and you feel very elevated from that and very special.
When history be written, that he will be the most important Jewish spiritual leader of the century.
His critics question that power, even condemn it, but not here in Crown Heights among followers. The Rebbe's looked at as a father, his image just about everywhere you go, even on the simplest things. This is the Lubavitcher headquarters where the Rebbe spends all of his time. He lives and works here. He arrived here in Crown Heights in 1941, and ever since then he's hardly ever left this neighborhood. But when and if he does leave, many of his followers hope it will be a trip to Israel. If the Rebbe goes to Israel, some say it'll be a signal he is the Messiah. The Rebbe himself has never said this in his teachings. Leaders even play down the fact that a replica of the Rebbe's Eastern Parkway home has been built in Israel, apparently awaiting his arrival, or that followers there reportedly have a beeper code to signal he's coming. No one will tell you with any certainty this religious man is their savior. They say Jewish teachings state that at all times the Messiah is near, but they feel if he comes now, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson would be the best candidate, and they hope that time is soon.
There's a yearning and a desire that ultimately he should be revealed as a Mashiach. But that's up to God. We just hope.
Mary Snow for the Channel 11 News at 10.
He is the Messiah. And at this hour, the spiritual leader of 1 million Lubavitcher Jews is being honored with a grand celebration. Today is Rebbe Menachem Schneerson's 90th birthday. Correspondent Chris Borgen is live in Brooklyn, where the streets were crowded with revelers a minute ago, who'll be parading into Manhattan right now. Chris.
Jim, quite a few still remain here in Brooklyn, here on Eastern Parkway, hoping to get sight of the Rebbe if he comes to the window. Catch sight, and if they do, well, they'll sing out in Hebrew, in Yiddish, in Russian, in German, in whatever language you can think of, and they'll all come out simply to say, hey, happy birthday.
It could only be fitting and proper that a birthday celebration, especially a 90th birthday, should be celebrated by the children, hundreds of children, all ages and sizes, but especially the very young and the very small. Everyone was aware that the Rebbe himself would not be here, but he could hear those voices in his rooms upstairs in the Lubavitcher World Headquarters. Forced to remain there, partially paralyzed on his right side from a stroke suffered last month. But his not being able to be here did not dampen the festivities. And there was time for a word to remind those whose birthday they were celebrating. Perhaps they did not really know who he was.
A 90th birthday is certainly a good cause for celebration. The 90th birthday of the Rebbe, clearly the most dominant Jewish spiritual leader today, and probably the most important Jewish leader of the century, is cause for global celebration.
Menachem Mendel Schneerson, born in Russia in 1902, educated in France and England, migrated to the United States just before World War II. He's remained here ever since. And in 1951, he took over as the Rebbe, the leader of the Lubavitch sect of the Hasidic movement of Judaism, the seventh Rebbe in a direct, unbroken line of descent from the founder of the sect in the Belarusian village of Lubavitcher. Today, Rebbe Menachem Schneerson is 90, and there's a fitting word of advice.
All people, the Rebbe said, should strive to be more righteous in their daily life. One should be better today than yesterday, and prepare today for an even better tomorrow.
So the celebration goes on today, and what happened here earlier, the throngs of people standing outside and lining the sidewalks, 90 mobile homes called Mitzvah tanks, and they will be taking off throughout the city to stop throughout the city to give out meals during this season and also literature about Judaism. The celebration of Menachem Schneerson. Happy birthday. Live from Eastern Parkway, I'm Chris Borgen, back to you in studio.
Thanks, Chris. Day of the Lubavitcher Grand Rebbe Menachem Schneerson. The sect is marking the occasion by sending out dozens of vans they call Mitzvah tanks across our area. Their mission is to urge other Jews to return to the observant fold and to distribute Passover food and literature. The Grand Rebbe himself is not participating in the festivities. He is still recuperating from a stroke suffered several weeks ago that left him partially paralyzed.
Consider the Messiah. He is Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, the spiritual leader of 1 million Lubavitch Jews around the world. To celebrate, 90 stretch campers called Mitzvah tanks rolled into Manhattan from the sect's headquarters on Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn. Then they spread out into the 5 boroughs to distribute Passover food and literature. The only person missing from the party was the Rebbe himself. He is in his Crown Heights home recovering from a stroke last month.
Marking the 90th birthday of a spiritual leader. And
New York City carrying a special message to mark the birthday of a spiritual leader. That's next on Eyewitness News.
There were some traffic tie-ups caused by unusual vehicles in the city today. It was all to honor a man known simply as the Rebbe, the leader of the Lubavitcher Hasidic sect, who is 90 years old today. Carlos Granda standing by live at Columbus Circle with details of this unique celebration. Carlos.
Well, as part of the 90th celebration for the Grand Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, 90 of these mitzvah tanks, as they are called, have taken up positions at various locations throughout the city. It's all part of an effort to reach out and promote a return to religion by Jews who have not actively practiced their faith. They came from all over the world to the Lubavitch headquarters in Brooklyn to celebrate and to pay tribute to the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Schneerson. The Grand Rabbi is the leader of more than 1 million Hasidic Jews, an ultra-Orthodox branch of Judaism. He is a direct descendant of a founder of Hasidim, and many of his followers feel he is actually the Messiah because of his leadership and achievements. But despite the happy occasion, the mood was somber and subdued today. That's because the Rebbe himself, shown here earlier this year, is not able to join in the celebration. He's recuperating from a stroke he suffered 6 weeks ago.
He's feeling well. His recuperation is coming along fine. His physicians are satisfied with his progress. Many have said that he is ahead of schedule.
People here are confident he'll soon recover. Joseph Schilkrug came from Brazil to take part in this celebration.
To me, it's the most important day, and to get some inspiration to go back to continue in a real underdeveloped country.
Being that the Rebbe is not well, it's of double importance that everybody comes out and participates, and we hope for the best.
The Rebbe has said that a birthday is like a personal new year, a time to be better today than yesterday, and a chance to be even better tomorrow. To achieve a better tomorrow, mobile units known as mitzvah vans were sent throughout the city. They paraded through Brooklyn and Manhattan, causing a few traffic jams along the way to spread the Lubavitcher message.
To educate Jewish people, to reach into them, and to teach them of their observances, and to bring them back to the faith.
Well, people here say this is the best present they can give to the Rebbe. The mitzvah tanks will be out until sunset. Reporting live from Midtown Manhattan, Carlos Granda, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
There's a Jew somewhere who hasn't been either directly or indirectly affected by the Rebbe.
The Grand Rabbi's illness didn't detract from the joy of celebrating his life today, from his boyhood in the Ukraine to student days in Paris and building the movement in Brooklyn.
Every year when we have a celebration for his birthday, he stands in front of 770 and he waves to the mitzvah tanks when they leave on their way to Manhattan. Unfortunately, that is not going to happen today.
Then a motorcade of 90 vans called mitzvah tanks, carrying followers of the rabbi who want to carry his message of a religious, charitable life to other Jews, left for Manhattan down Eastern Parkway, crossing the Manhattan Bridge. The caravan halted briefly so fervent believers could dance. To honor the rabbi's 91st year, they sang from the 91st Psalm, "With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation." Aboard van number 8, Schneerson's followers spoke with passion, likening him to the Messiah.
What better birthday present could we give him than to make people do good deeds and tell people and ask people to be kinder to each other, and maybe this way the whole world will get a little bit better, the whole world would be a more peaceful place to live in, and this can definitely hasten the coming of Mashiach. Thank you.
The coming of the Messiah.
The coming of Messiah.
The Mitzvah Tank Brigade broke up at 5th Avenue near 33rd Street. Then individual units went about their work, seeking to convert other Jews.
Okay, have a good day. Enjoy your trip in New York. Have a kosher and a happy Pesach.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Schneerson is the 7th in a line of Lubavitcher leaders going back to 18th century Poland. Although he has never encouraged his followers to think of him as the Messiah, he's not discouraged such speculation. Not too long ago, the Times reported he sent a message to the faithful in Israel telling them the Messiah is coming very soon.
And with people helping him celebrate. Details in just a moment. A caravan unlike any other we've seen, a demonstration to honor the Rebbe, Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the leader of the Lubavitcher Hasidic sect, on his 90th birthday. Mobile units known as Mitzvah tanks rolled through the streets, and thousands came from all around the world to honor Rabbi Schneerson, a man believed by many of his faithful to be the Messiah. The rabbi had a mild stroke 6 weeks ago, and he didn't take part in the ceremonies today, but his followers explained the Lubavitcher message.
Being that the Rebbe is not well, it's of double importance that everybody comes out and participates, and we hope for the best.
One of the purposes of these mobile units is to educate Jewish people, to reach into them.
Rabbi Schneerson is said to be recovering very well from his stroke. When we continue...
Red in the face, and a convoy is rolling to mark a religious leader's 90th birthday. New York streets today for Rabbi Menachem Schneerson. He is 90 years old. Steve Powers reports.
Like an army on wheels, 90 RVs, known by the Jewish Lubavitchers as Mitzvah tanks, roll through the city today. One tank for each year the leader of the ultra-Orthodox Hasidic sect has lived. The 90th birthday of Rebbe Menachem Schneerson. Unfortunately, the Rebbe suffered a stroke March 2nd, partially paralyzing his right side, and he remained at his Crown Heights headquarters. But the 90 tanks rolled on in celebration.
The purpose of these tanks is to give people who don't have the opportunity to go to a synagogue every morning a chance just to step inside from the hustle and bustle of the day for a chance to pray.
Why is the rabbi's birthday celebrated so widely?
Well, especially this year, it's the 90th birthday, and this is our form of a birthday present to the Rebbe, doing his work by reaching out to others.
Rebbe Schneerson came to Brooklyn, escaping from the Nazis in France back in 1941, and he has never left. The famous and everyday citizens are known to wait hours for a glimpse of the rabbi, and for the dollar bills the Rebbe hands out to be used as charity.
Every Sunday, it's known thousands of people come to receive a blessing from the Rebbe and to receive a dollar, and it takes a split second, but in that split second, the Rebbe was able to touch and to reveal the essence of the Jew, which is the spark of godliness, which is in every Jew.
We're told that Rabbi Schneerson is at his home at 770 Eastern Parkway in Brooklyn, making a full recovery from his stroke, and hopes to celebrate his 91st birthday next year in person. In Manhattan, Steve Powers, Fox 5 News.
There was a birthday celebration today in Brooklyn, and as Kevin Rosen reports, the celebration brought traffic to a standstill.
It is a birthday celebration unlike any other. The spiritual leader of more than 1 million Lubavitch Hasidic Jews turns 90 today, but Rabbi Menachem Schneerson will not attend. He's recovering from a stroke suffered last month. Followers were encouraged by doctors who said the Rebbe's condition was improving, but not enough for an appearance.
It's a little more subdued, but at the same time, we are hopeful and we want to continue the Rebbe's work.
One of Rabbi Schneerson's last public appearances was last summer when he met with Mayor Dinkins to try to quell disturbances between blacks and Hasidics in Crown Heights. Rabbi Yehuda Krinsky offered these words from the Rebbe on his birthday.
He would appreciate if everyone tried to be a little more righteous, to be better today than he or she was yesterday, and prepare today to be better tomorrow.
A convoy of 90 vans called Mitzvah tanks rolled into Manhattan from Brooklyn to spread the Orthodox Jewish teachings, at one point stopping at Grand Army Plaza to form the number 90 with the vans. As traffic snarled, motorists snarled at the inconvenience.
I think it's incredible that an entire section of Brooklyn can be tied up in the middle of the day like this.
I want you to let my boss know that we got stuck in traffic. Yeah. And we're here about 20 minutes.
Rabbi Schneerson is a direct descendant of a founder of the Hasidim. He and his wife escaped France before the Nazi invasion and arrived in Crown Heights in 1941. He has never left, and he has never set foot in Israel. While the celebration has been somber, there is hope because of the rabbi's condition that this is the year he will lead his followers to Israel, where he will then reveal himself as the Messiah. In Crown Heights, Kevin Rosen, Channel 9 News.
Ultra-Orthodox Jews from the Lubavitch sect drove 90 campers from Crown Heights, Brooklyn to Midtown Manhattan. The parade of the so-called Mitzvah tanks marked the 90th birthday of Rabbi Menachem Schneerson, the Lubavitcher Rebbe whose followers believe he is the Messiah. The Rebbe was unable to attend this year's celebration because he is recovering from a stroke.
Coming up, we'll show you the biggest birthday party in town today for the man some say is the Messiah.
Also, Linda, an incredible birthday tribute to the spiritual leader of thousands of Hasidic Jews.
a man followers say could be the Messiah. Rebbe Menachem Schneerson, leader of the Lubavitcher sect, turned 90. Thousands of followers celebrating his birthday at the sect's Brooklyn headquarters, then driving a caravan of campers called Mitzvah tanks throughout the city, 90 in all, each for 1 year of the Rebbe's life. He is still recovering from a stroke, and he personally was unable to take part in the celebration.